The IndyCar driver market is at it again. After two instances of two separate teams suing Alex Palou in the last year, ex-F1 driver Romain Grosjean is the latest to explore his options, which could lead to legal action. Grosjean has initiated arbitration proceedings, a process that helps two parties resolve differences out of court to protect his rights following his exit from the Andretti Autosport team. In a statement, Grosjean said he had expected to continue racing with the fine people of Andretti Autosport in the coming years. He said he was proud of the successes he and the team shared, but was disappointed that his intention to continue with the team is not being fulfilled. Grosjean's representation, which he mentions in the statement, is the same used by Chip Ganassi Racing when it settled out of court with Palou last year. So what happened? Our sources indicate Grosjean was given a contract earlier this year which he then signed, but it was not returned to him countersigned. Grosjean had been regularly pushed on his future by the media following a strong start to the season. At the Indy 500 in May, he said he felt he and Andretti had built something very strong and that he and the team wanted to carry on together. Obviously that changed over the rest of the year. Grosjean confirmed he is still pursuing options in IndyCar, although unlike Palou, who settled his differences with Ganassi and went on to win another championship with them in 2023, Grosjean returning to Andretti, even with a successful resolution between the two parties, is not on the cards. Grosjean's statement is the first public acknowledgement of the split between him and Andretti, which has been rumoured since July. Andretti already had Colton Herta under contract for next year and beyond. It has also signed Kyle Kirkwood to an extension and poached 2022 Indy 500 winner Marcus Ericsson from Ganassi. Andretti is likely to drop from 4 cars to 3 in IndyCar next year with those 3 drivers. Part of the reason is because its 4th entry, driven by Devlin DiFrancesco, missed out on almost $1 million, which is awarded to the entrants finishing in the top 22 in the points. It all could have gone so differently for Grosjean given his start to the 2023 season. The arbitration news is just the latest development in what has been a rollercoaster 3 years for Grosjean in IndyCar. It started at Dale Coyne Racing, which gave him an IndyCar drive in 2021, shortly after his fiery Bahrain Formula 1 crash at the end of 2020. It catapulted him to US stardom as his story of cheating death, frequently using the name The Phoenix, and his endearing travels across the US in his motorhome Raoul inspired the US fans to fall in love with the Grosjean story. After taking a surprise pole position at the Indianapolis road course for Coyne in 2021, Grosjean bagged 3 podiums for the team, which is an IndyCar minnow. Grosjean also had the 12th best average finish and the 7th best average start in a season where he did not do the oval races as he looked to adapt to life in IndyCar. His performances for Coyne and his newfound popularity scored him a plum full-time seat at Andretti for 2022 with the backing of long-term sponsor DHL. However, it was clear almost immediately that his second IndyCar campaign would be a struggle. Grosjean's inability or refusal to cope with large amounts of understeer proved tough. He felt like he had got lucky at Dale Coyne because the car suited him well, but at Andretti the car has a lot of rear grip which creates understeer. Grosjean says he just can't exploit his driving style when it's understeering, which meant he and his team had to try to replicate the front grip his Dale Coyne car had. It shows that even though IndyCar is a single chassis formula, the rate of development in areas like the suspension and dampers is absolutely crucial. 2 different teams can go in totally different development directions, combining the mechanical grip and the aerodynamics of the car in pursuit of the balance they are looking for, just like in Formula 1, only on a smaller scale because there are fewer variables. Through that struggle in 2022, Grosjean produced 3 top 5s and only moved up 2 places in the standings to 13th, despite Andretti's considerable resources and the fact that Grosjean had missed 3 of the races in that Coyne year. It wasn't just Grosjean struggling with his car, his rivals were struggling with his aggression on track. A number of on-track conflicts came to a head in April 2022 when Graham Rahal blasted Grosjean after they collided in the Barber race, calling him a punk. Rahal accused Grosjean of hitting everyone he could hit at the St. Petersburg race earlier in the season and alluded to Grosjean having a similar reputation in Europe. Rahal warned IndyCar not to penalise him if he sought retribution on Grosjean in the future. A festering spat within the Andretti team came to a head at Mid-Ohio that year too, where Alexander Rossi crashed into all of his teammates, including Grosjean 3 times, while Colton Herta hit Grosjean too. The drivers were hauled in front of team owner Michael Andretti for a dressing down. Further on-track incidents eroded Grosjean's popularity among some of the drivers, with reigning champion Will Power saying he needed a punch in the face after a practice incident at Road America earlier this year. But while his fellow drivers were getting tired of him, his DHL-branded shirts remained top sellers among fans at the track. Grosjean addressed the discontent from his rivals by telling us it was only a small number of drivers upset with him and they were jealous of his rapid rise in popularity. He was voted the most popular driver of 2021 in his rise with Dale Coyne, something Grosjean told us he almost wished hadn't happened because it put a target on his back. Grosjean fought for victory in the first race of 2023 at St Petersburg before Scott McLaughlin took him out in a Turn 4 collision late on. A crash at the Texas Oval, albeit a forgivable one given it was caused by dirty air from a driver moving in front, led to a crash that put Grosjean out of a top 5 position. Then a pair of podiums at Long Beach and Barber showed Grosjean close to his best. It was after this that Andretti is understood to have offered Grosjean a contract, but following that second podium in a row, a string of Grosjean errors, car failures and team mistakes meant an 8-race run without a top 10 finish. It seemed Andretti team boss Michael Andretti had had enough by July 2023, criticising Grosjean in the first public example of doubt over whether he would continue at the team. While it looked like a foregone conclusion in May when he seemed to be the team's top performer, by the end of the year he was behind both of his comparable high-profile teammates, Herter and Kirkwood. Andretti told the Indy Star that Grosjean tends to push it when he doesn't have the car. He praised his character and called him a pleasant and great guy, but called negative comments about the team frustrating. He added that Grosjean's weakness in controlling his adrenaline in the heat of the moment was the biggest downfall of his stint at the team. It was clear in Portland in September that something was off between Andretti and Grosjean, documented in a story by IndyCar TV broadcaster NBC, which confirmed Grosjean was leaving in a story it ran that weekend. Now Grosjean's statement confirms his intent to rectify the situation as he believes he has been wronged by the team. Grosjean had already announced his involvement in the Lamborghini hypercar program and has been testing the marque's SC63 Challenger ahead of its debut in 2024, where it will race in select World Endurance Championship events and North America's IMSA series. Some believe expanding his role with that team and doing more races could be the logical move for him next season. However, Grosjean's made it very clear he wants to stay in IndyCar, although the lateness of his arrival on the market in a fast-moving silly season means he doesn't have many options. A return to Dale Coyne seems most likely, although it has slumped since Grosjean's exit due to the constant poaching of its key technical staff and mechanics. Ed Carpenter Racing is believed to be an outside option. There's no seats at the big teams available, so Coyne or a switch to sports cars full-time would be the most likely option.